I don't like that. Mission space, I ain't doing.
Out the window for this trip.
Select 1 from tier 1 and 2 from tier 2 options.
That burger was fantastic. Cookie that we got was like, meh. Okay, so we are in the process of planning our Christmas trip to Disney. Today we are 31 days out. I actually got an email notification yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was saying your deposit is due on your client's Disney vacation. And I was like, whose final payment date is coming up? And when I opened the email, I saw my husband's name on there. I cannot believe we are almost only 30 days out. So it is time to get started with the kind of final prep of the planning process. That is what we're going to do first. We are going to apply that final payment to kind of get things started. I have started ordering some things. I've been planning ahead, thinking ahead on certain things that we want to do. So let's go make that final payment. As I pull this up, one thing that I want to note is I have been making my payments with my Disney Visa card. This is honestly, one of my favorite Disney saving tips. We decided to get this card a few years back when we were planning our trip, and there was a deal going on, and they have different deals going on all the time, but at the time the deal was spend $1,000 in the first 3 months and get like $300 back, or $300 towards your credit. We made our first Disney payments on it and got $300 credited. So we essentially got $300 off our package. The other one that we really like to use, of course, because I feel like flights are always the most expensive, and we fly out of Kansas City, so a lot of those direct flights to Orlando are Southwest. So we also got the Southwest card. They have deals going on all the time. I honestly should have waited to get mine, because when I initially got mine, it was a 60,000 point deal. We ended up paying, I think, like $70 round trip for the 4 of us to go last February with that deal. I know a few months back they had a deal for 100,000 points. So I'm going to link both of those cards below just as a point of reference. Now that the final payment is done, next I'm going to start working on kind of a rough itinerary. It's just going to be my husband and I for this short Disney Christmas trip. And I'm super excited because we're going to stay at a new resort to us. We're going to do a couple things we've never done before, like the Festival of the Holidays, and we will be doing Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party as well. So there's just all sorts of things that I want to see and do for this holiday trip. Let's get started. Okay, so I officially have everything as far as the general layout. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing with you, but I just kind of want to give you an overview of what I've laid out so you can see a little bit more of how I actually plan my trips. Obviously, this is a little bit more of a unique one because this one specifically is just going to be my husband and I. It's not going to be with the littles this time, but I want to give you an idea of my thought process behind planning. First of all, we are currently, oh my gosh, just over 2 weeks out. I can't believe we're that close already. And I have had this done for a couple days, but I'm just now getting down to this. So I promise I'm not like super last second, but sometimes I am. Sometimes I am. You just got to get it done. Basically, I've done like a rough layout of what we're wanting to do. We are, so overview, we are going December 2nd through December 4th. When this video is up, we'll actually be at Disney. We are flying out super, super early on the 2nd and planning to do the party that evening. And the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party starts at 7 p.m. That being said, you can actually get in with your ticket starting at 4 p.m. So that is going to be our plan. We're supposed to arrive at MCO around 9:30, 9:25 to be exact. So I have laid out some ideas for things I want to see, stuff I want to do before we get there at 4. However, one thing that I am going into it with my mindset of is that a lot of the times I don't ever since my first 2 trips, I really try not to have big plans on our arrival day, because depending on what happens with your flight, what happens with the transportation that you pick, different things like that, even even if you check in early, the time that you actually get your room, depending on the plans you have in mind, can throw everything for a loop. So I don't usually like to have big plans on check-in day, but since we're going for such a short time, that is out the window for this trip. So when we arrive, we are actually going to take a Lyft Uber to our resort. We are staying at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside Resort. So this will actually be our first time using a rideshare from the airport. We've previously used Mears and Away We Go. I have used Lyft to come back to MCO, but we haven't used it to get to our resort from MCO. We will be using that to get to our resort, and Riverside is actually a new resort for us as well. So I'm very excited about that. That means that some of my plans do include checking out Riverside generally, as I haven't even been to that resort, because there are multiple resorts that I haven't stayed at, but I have been to for restaurants, walkthroughs, just for me to see different things like that. So that will be part of the plan sometime that day. However, once we get there, I will check in. I doubt our rooms are going to be ready. Either way, we're going to leave our luggage there, whether that's with bell services or in our room if it is by chance ready. And then I really want to go see the Christmas decorations over at the monorail resorts. So Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary. My plan is to start at the Polynesian because I want that burger from Wailulu, guys. I stayed at Disney's Polynesian Island Tower this past June, during my agency summit with a couple of my fellow travel agents, and we ate at Wailulu, and that burger was fantastic. Like, everyone that I was with agreed. I'm pretty sure a couple of them have actually gone back to Wailulu since, and that is my plan. I want to go back to Wailulu, have that burger, and also give my husband a chance to try it because I genuinely think he's just gonna love it. So that is the plan. We're gonna start at the Poly, hopefully have lunch at Wailulu, and then visit the Grand and Contemporary, whether that's by walking or monorail, just to check out their Christmas decor. I kind of want to go to Disney Springs and do the Christmas tree stroll, so I might substitute that in. But with us being a little bit on a time crunch that day, since we want to get in around 4, I don't know that we'll go to Disney Springs. But then at that time, we will take a break. Hopefully our room will be ready early, because having an early flight, like literally our flight leaves at 5:30 or something crazy like that. So we will be up by 2. And I have a feeling my husband specifically is going to want to take a nap or lay down if possible, especially because my plan is to stay at the party until the last parade, at least. So hopefully our room's ready by then so we can take a quick break. Depending on how I feel, I might use that break time to just kind of walk around Riverside during that break time, essentially. And then around 3:45, we're going to head to Magic Kingdom for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And then I have jotted down just a couple of things that I want to focus on specifically. I have previously gone to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This was on an arrival day with my niece, and she was 6 at the time. And so honestly, generally it was kind of a fail. I learned a lot from mistakes on that trip. Definitely don't take your littles on arrival day to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. That kind of wrecked our entire time. Like, we had a good time when we were there, but it wrecked our time in the sense that we did not do a lot while we were there. Like, there was just so much that was available that we didn't get to do because we were all tired, and especially her being 6, like, she was just done. We had a park day planned for the next day, so we just went back early. But I have some of what my focus is want to be. It's going to be a lot of ride character focused, because I do want to see like Space Mountain with the Christmas layover. I want to do Jingle Cruise. We didn't do either of those 2 things last time. I want to see Jack in his new get up. That may or may not happen. And Mickey and Minnie are together this year in their Christmas get up, so I would honestly like to meet them. I love Happily Ever After, but I'm not super set on seeing the Christmas fireworks necessarily to where I want to like stand in front of the castle and see everything. So I'm debating just doing like the People Mover during that time. I really want to take my husband to see Phil Magic. My fellow agents were appalled that I had not done that this June and had me do it, and it was so cute. It made me so mad that we didn't take my girls to do it the last time that we were there. So I want to take my husband just so he can see it. And then we do, like I mentioned, plan on doing the 11 o'clock parade. Hopefully it will be less crowded, because the last time I went, I did know that was kind of a piece of advice that people gave, but since we were so tired and knew we'd probably leave early, we did do the 9 p.m. parade, and it was slammed. So I'm hoping if we do the 11, that will save us a little bit of crowd. And then one thing I jotted down was that I really want to look for more of the free cookie and drink stations that they have throughout the park during the party that your ticket includes, because last time we only did one and the cookie that we got was like meh. So I want to see what else there is. I do also want to find the popcorn bucket. So that's just kind of the generic plan for the first day. And then the full day that we're there, that second day, December 3rd, is specifically set aside for EPCOT Festival of the Holidays. This is a festival that I have yet to do. My husband hasn't done it. That is one of our biggest priorities, is that specific festival. Seeing everything around EPCOT, as the last 2 times we've been there during the holidays was November. That festival hadn't started yet. So that is our biggest thing. I do want to rope drop Guardian so that we can ride it twice with the Lightning Lane single pass. And my plan is to spend most of the morning on rides and then most of the afternoon on World Showcase in the festival itself. We might take a break somewhere in there just because the first day will have been a long day, maybe to take a nap, maybe to rest. I plan to do Luminous at the end of the night. And then the next day, our flight leaves around 2. So we don't have much planned that morning, but I am excited because we've left Disney early lots of times. So I'm excited to not rush up. And then we have brunch reservations at Steakhouse 71 over at Disney's Contemporary Resort. I've heard lots of great things about that restaurant in general, but brunch specifically. So we will eat brunch there and then head to the airport. So that's just kind of an overview. Like I said, I don't go super in depth like what we're going to do by the hour. I might do that a little bit more with my girls, so I have a general idea of what our day timing and what our break timing is looking like. But when it's just my husband and I, or just me, I do more of a generic plan and things that I want to get done without super specific time frame.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some of the Christmas specific stuff that I have prepped for this trip. I'll show you what I have so far. I'm going to start with basically what I already had, because let's face it, I'm a Disney girly at heart and a Christmas girly at heart. So I do already have some things, and I've been to Disney at Christmas previously. So starting with these bobble bar earrings, like how cute are these? So I'm packing these for sure. And then another pair here. These, I actually love Christmas lights. So this find was like one of my favorites. We are going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and the Festival of the Holidays. So just a normal day during December at EPCOT. So I'll probably wear the lights for the Christmas party and then wear the Mickey Santas for Festival of the Holidays. These ears I got when we went to the party. It's knocking off my glasses. I got these when we went to the Christmas party with all sorts of mistakes back in 2023. So I'll be wearing this again. Also probably to the Christmas party. And I actually just ordered, it's not in today, a hat from Makers of Magic and Wishes that I plan to wear to Festival of the Holidays, because I am more of a hat girly than an ear girly, but I obviously have to wear those to the party. This I wore to the party last time, and I'll probably wear to EPCOT this time. Yeah, it's so cute. And you can see like Chip and Dale there in the middle. And it's long sleeve, so it'll be perfect for December. So that's some stuff that I'm packing that I already have. Some stuff that I got, like I said, I have a hat on the way, which I will plug here once it comes in. But of course, starting off with my girl, Little Things with Sam. She makes the cutest, I have so many mugs from her, and I think she's doing like a few less mugs and more of these sleeves because they are popular. I have 2 sleeves already. I have multiple mugs, so check her out if you haven't already. But I'm super excited to use this for our holiday trip. And then I also got this as well. I am blanking on where I got it at the moment, but I will put that below. But look how cute this is. This is what I'm gonna wear to the party, because obviously, as you can see, it's like the parade from the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I keep wanting to say like Not So Scary, which is not right. And it's nostalgic for me because I always watched those like VHS sing-alongs growing up, and they have like all these characters in those songs. I didn't didn't go to Disney as a kid, but this was super nostalgic for me. Plus I love all things Christmas in the parade, so I just thought this was super cute. So that is everything that I have Christmas specific so far, minus the hat. Still trying to figure out exactly what I'm gonna do for the outfits, but I will probably include that in the packing video.
This video will be going up when we are at Disney. So right now we have done the final payment, the overview, started some packing, laying out those Christmas specific outfits, and obviously I still need to finish packing. But that being said, the biggest thing we have left besides packing is the lightning lanes.
It is currently 5:54, but it is the morning of our lightning lanes, so getting ready to do that. Luckily I'm typically up and around for my everyday by now, so I've already gotten up, done my hair, done my makeup for the day, and I will be waking up the girls shortly, but I am getting ready for the lightning lanes. So we are only gonna have one day of lightning lanes because Christmas party, you can't do lightning lanes. Usually I have to wake them up at 6, like they're zonked, and currently they're playing in their bed, so I'm making sure they're staying in there at the moment. You can't use lightning lanes at like parties and these special events, so we can't use it at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and we're not going into the park before that, so we won't be using lightning lanes that day. However, the full day that we're at EPCOT is when we plan on using the lightning lanes. Kind of what my plan is, like to let you know what I'm going into it thinking. I'm going to purchase the single pass for Guardians of the Galaxy because honestly, it is no longer virtual queue. So if we can rope drop that and lightning lane it and ride it at least twice, that would be grand. For the multi-pass, there's tier 1 and tier 2. So there's like usually at each park a couple tier 1 rides, and then the rest that are available are tier 2. And so when you go to make your selections, you're able to select 1 from tier 1 and 2 from tier 2 options. Once you're in the park and you start using your lightning lanes, then the tier 1, tier 2 thing doesn't matter. It's more like once you scan into one, what's available for what you want, you can book. But when you're initially selecting, it does have to be 1 tier 1 and 2 tier 2s. My plan is to get test track for tier 1. FYI, the tier 1 at EPCOT are test track, which it's new. This is kind of recent because it was redone. So this was recently added into the tier 1 options. And so it's test track, Frozen Ever After, and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. So since I'm picking test track, I cannot select Frozen or Remy's for my first go around. And then for tier 2, it's essentially all the rest. So we're definitely gonna do Soarin', and then honestly, I don't know, because my plan for the EPCOT morning is to just do as many rides as we can in the morning. So I'm thinking I'll pick for the third one, I was thinking I'll pick one that's close to one of the other two so we can just go boom boom. And the only other ones close to test track are Mission Space and Guardians of the Galaxy. And Mission Space I ain't doing. Guardians of the Galaxy there's not a multi-pass for. So I think I'm gonna do Living with the Land since it's in the Land Pavilion with Soarin', and then we can just scan in, knock those out, and then continue booking for the rest of the morning. So that is my plan. We'll see if we get good times. We'll see if we get those. Let's do it. I also have my wallet and card right here just in case. I always do that with dining reservations and whatnot. Because you can use the card saved on file, but since it's like a right at that time booking thing, I don't want to not have my card handy and then have to like run and find my wallet, run and dig my card out if by chance the stuff stops working. So we'll see. 5:59, 6 o'clock. Let's do it. So initially, I'm not loving my times. I was able to change my Guardians of the Galaxy single pass, but I'm gonna go see if I can update anything here. Modify selection. Actually, I'm gonna modify that one last because, well, let's face it, I don't. Why does it do that? I'm sharing plans. I need, like, I've shared plans with like agents and stuff in the past. And I have friends that are gonna be there around the same time as us. So it's not showing. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe there's not any other times. I have Living with the Land at 10:30, Soarin' at 12:10, Guardians at 12:30, and Test Track at 2. I don't like that. It's way too spread out for me. As of right now, it's not showing me very many like other options. And I'm gonna have to start my day. So we will leave it at this for now. Or it could modify for something different that's earlier, i.e. the Seas Figment at 9:40, which could be good after like a rope drop ride. What time is this one? 10:30, so I could scan in at 10:25. Okay, so I modified my Living with the Land at 10:30 to, because that one was the one that I was like just trying to do something close, but they're not even close in time, so my plan doesn't really make sense anyways. Like I'm not gonna be able to go back to back. So if we're gonna plan to rope drop, that means that we'll be in the park by like, we'll be in there by 8:30 or earlier. So I don't really want my first lightning lane not to be until 10:30. So I went ahead and modified Living with the Land, since that was kind of my flex one, to the Seas with Nemo and Friends at 9:40. That way, even if we don't scan in right at the beginning, depending on how long it takes us to rope drop Guardians, maybe we can. But either way, after Guardians, we can like grab some coffee, walk around for a sec, and then start riding some rides. Because hopefully, even though the next lightning lane isn't scannable until like noon, I can either modify that between now and then, or if I can't, once I scan into the Seas, I can hopefully start booking like other lightning lanes. I will say at EPCOT, you don't really need lightning lanes for a chunk of the rides. We just don't like waiting in line. So if we can bring it down from 30 minutes to 5 minutes, we're gonna do it. And then the rides that do need a little bit more of a lightning lane, we'll also have the availability for. So that is that. That is like the biggest thing that was left to do. So it is getting a little hectic over here. We are a few days from leaving for our trip. We've done the final payment. We have our rough plan. We have the Christmas apparel, the packing. We have the lightning lanes done. And I even got a reservation to Beacon Barrel. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I was talking about how I was like, oh, we're not going to do any dining reservations this time. Just kind of skipped over our 60-day mark. And then later I was like, why the heck would I not have gotten a Beacon Barrel reservation to try out that new bar at Magic Kingdom that is Pirates of the Caribbean themed? So I have been looking for that ever since. I finally got one for 10 o'clock the night of the Christmas party. So it's going to work out really well, I think, as far as trying to go to the 11 o'clock parade. So I have that locked in. And then as far as everything else, I will be sharing our experiences kind of live as we're there on Instagram if you want to follow along. And then make sure that you're also subscribing so that you can catch some recaps of the Christmas party, the trip in general, and overall just kind of what we're doing, and even opinions on a new resort for us. We'll be staying at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside, so that will be being shared as well. So make sure to subscribe to catch all the things. And like I said, follow along on Instagram Live, and thanks for being here.